This episode is brought to you by Paycor, the HR and payroll software made for leaders. It's never been harder to recruit, hire, and engage workers. That's why HR leaders and frontline managers depend on Paycor for all things people management, from onboarding and performance reviews to compensation and benefits. Learn more at paycor.com/leaders.
We made USAA Insurance to help you save. Take advantage of discounts when you cover your home and your ride. Discover how we're helping members save at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2411. Think Bigger to Motivate Yourself by Tynan of Tynan.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. This is our Sunday bonus episode where I share an article with you from a different podcast in our network. And today's episode is coming from our very first podcast, Optimal Living Daily. You can find that show wherever you're listening to this. And please do follow or subscribe to the show to get new episodes every day. So with that, here's Justin with the post and commentary as we optimize your life.
Think Bigger to Motivate Yourself by Tynan of Tynan.com. I see a lot of people struggle with motivation, especially those who are already doing well. That represents a big loss of potential, as those who have already achieved some level of success are demonstrably able to channel motivation into output. I have some ideas on why this happens and also how to combat it. While I think that it's important to be able to work with as little motivation as possible, there's no point in making things harder than they have to be. Working is easier and more enjoyable when we are properly motivated, so learning to motivate ourselves is a valuable skill. It is possible, and maybe even preferable, to be motivated by work itself. I wrote a whole post called Love Work about this many years ago. If you're not able to love your work and be motivated by it, you are definitely in the wrong field. However, all of us go through periods of time when our immediate tasks are not overly motivating. I spent the last 2 weeks totally rewriting code I had already written, which is really hard to get very excited about. Think of external motivation as the starter to your productivity engine. Work is usually most motivating when you're in the zone and in the middle of an interesting problem, but sometimes we need a push to get there. Over the past month, I've probably watched at least 50 reviews of yachts. Some of them border on being affordable, but the majority are 1 or 2 orders of magnitude more than I could afford. I share a small boat with a friend, and some of my most enjoyable times in the past year have been taking friends and family on the boat for 1 or 2 day trips. As I watched the yacht reviews, I imagined being able to take my friends and family on trips that spanned a week or maybe even a month, cruising around the coast of Europe or hopping islands in the Caribbean. Is it a waste of time for me to be spending hours per month watching reviews of yachts I couldn't possibly buy? I don't think so. Watching yacht videos makes me motivated. I know that the only way I could ever get one is if I work really hard and create a lot of value for a lot of people. I'll never be able to afford one on my current trajectory, so I must level up. It's important to want something you don't already have. It doesn't have to be a big fancy yacht. It could be a new knowledge, prestige, respect, the ability to donate a huge amount of money to a cause you care about, or anything else. Most people start out with wanting things like financial stability, a good living situation, and maybe a nest egg for security. Those are perfect goals, but once you achieve them, you have to find something new. Like so many things, what got you from point A to point B may not be the same thing that will get you to point C. There's the idea that wanting things is not good and that you should be satisfied with what you have. I think that this is half true. You shouldn't be merely satisfied with what you have, you should be ecstatic. Humans came into this world living in the wild, fighting for our lives. So anything above that, and even that really, we should be grateful for. If you never get anything else in life, you should be more than satisfied. However, that doesn't preclude us from wanting things. We humans have created so many cool things. I mean, seriously, just watch a yacht video. So why not be excited about those things? The best state to be in is to need nothing, be extremely happy with what you have, and still want a lot more. Isn't a yacht very materialistic? Sure. What I found best motivates me is sharing experiences with people close to me. I love showing people my favorite cities and even better, hosting them there, teaching people cool things I've learned, or buying fixed assets that I can enjoy but also share with others. The best part of the island isn't going there by myself, but being able to share the experience of staying on a private island with others. It would be nice if my primary motivator was ending global poverty or something, and maybe those who are motivated most by that are better people than I am on balance. However, I'd rather figure out what actually motivates me so that I can use it to produce good work than try to convince myself I'm motivated by something more altruistic. It's just more effective and honest. It also doesn't really matter if you ever get the things you use to motivate yourself. They're just tools, and you'll change anyway. For years, I was so motivated to work because I wanted to buy an airplane, Mooney M20J or M20K, but then when I got to the point where I could reasonably consider it, I lost all interest. The point isn't to actually get the things, it's to gain the ability to get them. I think people feel bad about dreaming big these days. Wealth inequality is certainly too high, but rather than aspire to make it to the top and raise the floor for everyone else, we sometimes demonize those at the top, which isn't to say that some don't deserve it. Love work for its own sake, appreciate what you already have, and don't become such a workaholic that you miss out on the joy of life. But also, think big. What would be worth working really hard for? What would get you out of bed in the morning, eager to work? You don't have to share your motivation publicly or even be proud of it. First find it, then channel it into great work, and then on the side, think about what it is you want and examine the underpinnings of the desire. You just listened to the post titled, Think Bigger to Motivate Yourself by Tynan of Tynan.com.
This episode is brought to you by KPMG. At KPMG, innovation is the go-to state of mind. Their visionary thinkers and advanced technology help you see beyond the now, uncover new insights, and turn them into opportunities. KPMG can help you leverage the value of data and drive transformational outcomes through innovation. To explore their thinking, go to kpmg.us.
This episode is brought to you by Paycor. Paycor empowers leaders to build winning teams. With Paycor, leaders can recruit, onboard and train employees, set goals, and drive performance. If you're a leader, everyone depends on you. Who do leaders depend on? Paycor. Learn more at paycor.com/leaders.
And thank you to Tynan. Like yesterday, another post asking us to rethink our work if we don't love it, or at least if we aren't motivated by it and can't imagine spending 90,000 hours of our lives there, as Joshua Becker pointed out yesterday. But the focus of the article takes an interesting perspective. We hear a lot about minimalism here. In fact, yesterday talked about minimalism, and Tynan lives pretty minimally, but he talked about how that drive of wanting something can really work in your favor. So ridding yourself of wants might not be the best solution for you. Or maybe it is. That's the fun of this podcast. You get to find out what works best for you. I think my drive personally is mostly internal, so it's sort of a never-ending quest, hoping that more people find this podcast helpful. But for you, that could be different. Maybe temporarily it is to get to the point of buying a yacht or something else. And like Tynan said, maybe by the time you get there, it will have changed, and that's okay. Not just okay, but great, because you achieved what you set out to do. But your priorities changed, and now you can use that result to get something else, or give, or invest, whatever you like. But the point he made is that it's okay to want, and to want big. So something to think about today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here and listening to me, and for subscribing to the show, and I'll be back tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.